But I like the last two conversations he had in his videos, today and yesterday's video, where he talked about his inability to, when he's in drawdown, when he takes another trade and it's profitable, and he knows in his gut he should, like, I should take something and lock that in, and or take something off of it and pay myself. But because the pain and the pressure of ego as a male, and I'm not saying he's egotistical, but I know as a man, as a male, and ladies, you probably can't understand this. In fact, I know you don't understand it, because I live with a wife that just simply just doesn't understand it. It's a fucking video game, Michael. What are you making a big deal about it for? I said, look around. Look how you live, woman. Look how you live. And you call that a video game? Come on now. So he knows that if he does take a loss, like anybody else, and I've experienced this too. I'm not talking like I don't have this experience. Everybody that's ever traded has had this experience. But when you have a period of drawdown, or if you get into a trade or two and you're in drawdown on a day, the first impulse is, motherfucker, I want my money back, and I'm coming with interest, bitch. You better give me my motherfucking money. Where the fuck is my money? Where is my shit? Where is it at right now? Give it to me. It's already late. Give it to me now. That's what you want. That's the mindset. And then all of a sudden you get into trades, and say you're down $500, say you're down $750, some $800, okay? And you get into another trade, you're pissed off, you can't find your groove, but it just how happens that you're in now a trade and you're up $400. And you're thinking, all I gotta do is see another one of those and I'm even. And if it gets to that, I'll just see if it wants to give me a little bit more, because I need to cover commissions and I gotta come home with something. First of all, you don't need to go home with anything. You got to leave with your ass. You can't go into the marketplace and leave your ass out there. You can't do that. So this is why I teach how to mitigate losing streaks, how to take drawdown and bring it back realistically. That means you're not trying to get everything back in one clip. Now, there has been times where I've done that. Revenge style, okay, but it's never served me well as a method of doing it again and again and again. I learned the hard way that if I lose 1,000 and I get into another trade with half the leverage and I'm up $500, I'm done. I'm closing that trade. Now what that does, it frees me up to go back to the original amount of leverage that I took on the previous trade that was a losing trade. So put it in perspective. Okay, say I was risking 1% and I lost 1%. Whatever that dollar amount is for 1% of the equity, the next trade that I take, I'm taking it with 1/2 of 1% risk. But if I make half of that previous losing trade back, as soon as my trade gets to that point, I'm killing it. I don't give a flying fuck how much it might keep going. I don't care. Because I have to reset myself mentally. And maybe you think that you're better than me mentally. Maybe you think you're more dialed in. Maybe you think you're the person that's going to be doing everything better than everybody else and you're perfect, okay? Believe me, you're 20 years old, you probably think that. I did the same thing, and I'm telling you right now, you don't fucking know anything. You have no idea. You haven't been around here yet long enough. You're going to find out just like I found out. I fucked around and I found out that I wasn't the shit that I thought I was when I was 20. I am today. I ain't going to lie to you. Okay, I am today. It is what it is. But here's the deal. When you get that opportunity to get half of the losing trades that you just took your ass out there and got whacked upside your head, soon as you get half of that losing trade back and you're doing it with half the leverage, you close that trade and you don't give a fuck what anybody else is going to say about it. First of all, you shouldn't be telling anybody about it. 2, you tell yourself, good job. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to do that. Not, oh, I'm going to hold and push my edge. My edge says I should do this. Fuck your edge. Fuck your edge. Gentlemen, listen. When you get that brand new razor, Gillette, you bought that fucking razor just like I did. Okay? There's commercials. They make it seem like it's the greatest fucking thing in the world. Your wife's going to come around the corner. She looks like a fucking celebrity model. You know, everybody's chiseled out fucking face. Everybody's looking perfect. And because you want that razor. And that razor gets on your skin the very first time, and it cuts through your beard and your stubble like a fucking knife through butter. Just beautiful. Just takes it right on off, right? Okay. Keep using that same motherfucking razor 6 months. What's it going to do? It's going to tear your ass up. It's going to tear your ass up. I don't give a shit how much lubricant, how much shit you lather all over your face. That razor, you keep pushing it, it's going to lose its edge. It's going to tear your face up. Okay, well, you're in that same scenario. You just took a loss. Now you're forced to drop down your leverage. Half the leverage you took on your previous trade, it was a losing trade. But now you got the opportunity to get half of your ass back. And you did it with half the leverage. That's phenomenal. Now, it's not phenomenal for the SMC guys out there, the 200 to 1 fucking traders that do it every single fucking week, but they're still trading with 0.01 leverage on their fucking trades on their MT4 screenshots. It's not good enough for them. I'm not talking to them. I'm talking to really real traders, the people that are here to learn how to make money and conduct themselves like professionals in the marketplace. You have to work within statistical probabilities, and the probabilities of you being dialed in after a losing trade, especially if you're new, next to 0. And that's a normal thing. So how do you combat that? You got to reduce your risk. As soon as you get half of that losing trade back in equity in the trade that you're now in after that losing trade. So now 1% you took as a loss. Now you're going to take another trade, not right away. When your system, when your pattern, when your model says so, time and price has to still agree. It's got to make fucking sense. You just can't just pull one out of your ass and say, well, I don't feel good. This hurt. And I need to get this back right away because my friends on social media are going to be meeting together in my Discord channel. And they're all going to ask me what the fuck I did today. And I cannot talk about this losing trade because guess what? I'm going to lose my man card. You see how silly it is when you get in these little groups, these cliques? Fuck that shit. These guys sit around like a bunch of nerds, okay? Like they're trading Pokemon fucking cards. This is money. We're talking about money. I'm not here for friends. I don't give a fuck if you like my trades. I don't care if you love my trades. I'm here to make money. I'm here to teach you how I make money. If you don't like that, then go somewhere else. Play fucking Pokemon in Discord. I don't give a shit. But here, if you're trading with a losing trade, the next trade, you're half the leverage. Make half that losing trade that you took 1% loss on, make that back. As soon as you do that, that's a reset. Now you can go back to trading with 1% risk again. But wait a minute, Michael, I'm in drawdown still a 0.5%. Right. Yep. That's what I do. That's what I do. Now, what happens if you lose again? You drop your risk in half again, and you trade until you get half of that losing trade back. And then you close the trade. That frees you up to go back to what? 1% or 0.5%. Once you get down to 0.25%, there's really nothing, in my opinion, it's worth taking. But what that does, it causes your drawdowns to be less and less and less, and it allows you to reset emotionally and psychologically because it takes the sting away. If you're wrong, if you're impulsive, if you rush back in to try to do something, it is a fail switch to keep you from blowing the fuck out. Because you will, if you don't do these things, you will, if you just go in there and say, okay, I don't care, and you get that gambler numbness. Anybody that's ever played cards or went to a casino, you're up, you made money, you've had an experience like that. You go home, they send you comps. Come on back. We love you. You took money from us. We love you as a customer. Come back here and stay in one of our really luxurious suites and we'll give you a steak dinner and here's 2 tickets to a show. Come on back. Have the whole weekend to yourself because you are a customer that we love. And your dumb ass believes that. So you fly out there, you go out there and then you lose everything you fucking won the last time and then more. What happened? You're sitting at the table. You know damn well you shouldn't have came back out there. 2, you shouldn't have stayed as long as you did. And you knew right when you should have stopped. But you don't. And you lose. And you lose again. And then you lose again. And all of a sudden you think to yourself, well, fuck it. I got $1,000 still in chips here. I'm just going to play until I fucking lose. I don't care. That's gambler numbness. That's what trading sometimes does or occurs to people that just cannot stay focused. And what happens is you're just waiting for that chance turnaround. And when it does, few and far between, there's an instance where that occurs. But when it happens, what that does is it gives you that little bit of dopamine. Boom. All of a sudden, oh shit. Look out, ladies. Holy shit. Look who just stepped in. It's Money Man. It's Mr. Maven. It's fucking Mr. Market Maker. ICT's nobody compared to you now. You got it all figured out. Because that chemical imbalance just kicks in, and everybody has this. You don't have to be bipolar to experience this. That feeling of I'm on now. I'm on. But it doesn't happen. But if it does happen, that's when you start betting bigger because you think you've turned the tide. And now the gods of the odds have now shined their light on you and given you their favor. And the only thing they've given you is a shift in your perspective. Because see, what you think is good is just really their boot going up your ass. You have no idea what's about to happen to you. And then boom, your $1,000 is gone. And on the flight home from the casino, and you've lost more than you brought because you couldn't take that. You had to go and get more money out of your ATM and more money out of your ATM. Because, hey, it's still Saturday night and you got another night to sleep up there for free, right? And you fly home with less money than you had before you went out there and won by luck. See, all these things, these take place all the time, every single day. And it took place a lot, I guarantee you, in so many people's minds today. If they have somehow dodged that big drop in the morning, they were in there playing around. They were in there trying to do something they're not equipped to do. And they can't manage themselves. They can't manage their emotions. They can't manage their psychology. And I know enough about myself to know that I would have done more than I should have today. And it probably wouldn't have been as good as I would have wanted it to be because I went in with the wrong expectations. I'm going to come in there, Mr. Market Maven. And that volatility today said, sit the fuck down, boy. You ain't ready. You ain't ready for this. Sit down. Just shut your fucking mouth. You just sit right there and you just watch and be thankful you're not in here. And guess what? I knew better. I turned the charts off. I walked away from that. And I came back later on and I saw that it had completely went right back up, closed in the gap, the liquidity void, used that support, as I mentioned, and then vaulted above the high and then just kept digging in higher. So to me, I think that anyone listening to what Corbs shares with his, I know he's been trading for a while. I think he's mentioned he's been doing it for a few years, but I think he's really at a stage where he's really now taking it serious in terms of his development. Because I asked him, I said, what's your goal? And he wants to be a 7-figure trader. And the things he's enduring right now are many times the barrier that prevents that very thing. And most people can't get through it. They can't press through it. And what I talked about in this Twitter space here in terms of managing your risk, dropping it down and make half of the previous loss back, then reset to what the previous loss leverage was. That gives you that little bit of a cookie, which is what we need, okay? As humans, we need that little reward, that little nudge that we're doing it right. That cookie, that attaboy, that pat on the shoulder, okay? And like in karate and martial arts, okay? All these fucking belt colors and shit. Why? Because they got to keep you paying. They got to keep you feeling like you're rewarded, okay? And most real martial arts didn't have all that shit. That's an Americanized thing. They bastardized the entire martial arts by having these belt systems. And in trading, you have to have that Miyagi experience. Okay. You have to have that where, you're working your ass off. You're out there, you're sanding the fence and you're painting the fence. You're waxing the cars. ICT's talking to you and putting you through all this bullshit discussions. This doesn't mean anything to me. Tell me how to buy and sell. Tell me when to get in, when to get out. How the fuck do I know how to do this? You're talking all this bullshit. You're talking about a house I can't live in. What the fuck's this got to do with anything? It has everything to do with it. So you don't think you're learning anything right now, but when you put yourself in that situation, now because I'm talking to you like this, you're going to say, you know what? This is exactly like that motherfucker said. That old motherfucker, 50 years old, had a clue. He did know what he was talking about. He knew exactly what he's talking about, because I'm feeling that shit right now. I feel like I need to get out there and break somebody's fucking head in this market because I have something to prove. I got a chip on my shoulder. I have, a reason to be violent in these marketplaces. And bringing violence to the market, well, you're just asking for your ass to get beat, because believe me, the gang in the market is always going to outnumber you. It's always going to outnumber you when you go in like a vigilante. If you go in there with that vigilante mindset, you're going to be the Punisher. No, you're going to go home in a fucking ambulance. Okay, that's the way it's going to happen. You're going to lose your ass going in there like that, because you're trying to do something with an outcome in mind that's not guaranteed. And you're blinded by your rage or your fit. Okay, you're all pent up like I was. I have been. You see how quiet I've been recently on Twitter? Like somebody the other day said, your music selection. What the fuck's going on with this? I played that beautiful song that it's a female artist, and it's a very moving song to me. I loved it, and I was in my feels that day. I was thinking to myself, what if I don't get this house? And what if I don't get this house? Number one, my wife's going to be upset because she loves this house. Now, don't get me wrong. I love the house. I think it's a beautiful home. It's, there's certain things I wanted, and there isn't that in this property. But my wife, when we went through it, she was like, Michael, please, can I have this? I was like, guys, what do you do in that situation? You can't win that. You can't fucking win that. So I was like, okay, well, let's see if, we can work it out. So I offered them 1.8 million. Of course, they rejected that. And I came up to 1925, which is what they allowed for the other offer, but didn't give them a contract. Like, they didn't sign a contract, but they were going to accept his 1925 if they provided a contract or an offer, written offer, but they didn't do it. But I came in with 1975 because I asked them, I said, listen, I'm all cash, no contingencies. Like, I will buy this house, no waiting. Like, I own real estate. I don't need to sell shit. I'm buying outright. You tell me what your lowest that you're taking right now, and nobody else can take any of your attention away. Like, I'm going to be the one. They said 1975 and the house will be yours. So I said, okay. And in an hour we had the offer in their hands and they signed it. Okay. And then this asshole comes and does all that. So since like the first week of September, I have been very difficult to be around in my personal life. I've been very, very hard to deal with personally if you were around me. I've been very short. My wife has been careful to be around me. My children have been very careful around me. And I have not had any kind of real interactions with anyone else. And that kind of mindset, partially, is what motivated me to do what you've seen recently, where you saw me doing like $13,000 trades, $12,000, $10,000 trades. That was me in there doing a little bit more than I usually do, because obviously I've been teaching you to do these models that are, try to get 5 handles and be fine. You're all asking like, can you just show the model? Can you do that? I just feel like I got to do more, and that's why I was doing that. But today I was really going in there with kind of like a gladiator mindset, and because I'm imbalanced over all the bullshit, I wanted to release. Okay, I wanted to release. I wanted to be able to discharge. I haven't been able to talk to anybody because it wouldn't have been as therapeutic as this one feels for me. And I understand some of you that haven't been trading long enough. None of this probably makes any sense to you. And maybe they've probably already turned the Twitter space off. But I promise you, okay, Mark Douglas doesn't touch anything like this in his book. Okay, it's not a popular way of discussing human frailty. And I'm a human, and I have a lot of frailty because I'm imbalanced. And I feel, well, I can feel elated 1 second, and then I can feel rage within 30 seconds. And sometimes I can feel myself swinging chemically back and forth, all within a 5-minute period. And that volatile state of mind where I wish I could articulate what that feels like. It's a miserable experience. And that's what my life has been. Like, I have lived with this, and it's very, very hard to deal with. And sometimes I foolishly went into the marketplace in my manic episodes. And sometimes I've gone into the marketplace trading where I was euphoric. And both of those times I have had dismal results because I'm reacting to the stimuli of being in that market experience. Whereas if I am trying to, like, that's why I meditate. Okay, I meditate, I exercise, I lift weights, I do stretching, I do all those things because if you look at the schedule I tweeted and the things I do and how I eat and all that stuff, I have to adhere to that schedule. If I don't adhere to that schedule, I cannot do well in the marketplace, because if I'm in a trade, I'm going to think about how I did not do this part of my routine. Something took me out of my routine. And because that happens, many times that'll be the reason or catalyst for me not to take any trades in the morning session or in the afternoon session. Not because I don't see a trade, not because my methods don't have something that would give me something to work with. Okay, I could sit down in front of any market day, and do something. Like, for instance, Wednesday, that was a range bound day. I sat there and I literally, in a demo, I didn't do anything with live. I proved I didn't do anything with my live account, nothing. But in a demo, I ran up $17,000 on a demo just using 4 contracts, banging around inside that range. And I had 2 trades that stopped out where it was like, just a little bit above what would be, I guess, commission costs. But that's it. Now, I know I can do these things, but here's the thing. As nimble as you see me doing what I show you, on days when I can't control myself, the man part of me, the physical person of me, not the trader ICT, the Michael, the imbalanced Michael, okay? The guy that I have to be very careful with, because if I let this motherfucker do what he wants to do, I'm going to wreck myself and ruin my entire livelihood. Everything would be ruined, because a day like today would cause me to do something that I would punish myself. I would punish myself for years, knowing damn well I should have never done it. But I started the day with that in mind. And with grace, I saw that, you know what? Yeah, it's enough. I don't need another reminder. Thank you, Lord. I'm done. I know because of experience. When I tell you, somebody asked me today, do you think I should put a short order in at 35.70 if it comes back up today? I said, no, I wouldn't touch it today. Because immediately when I looked at that tweet, my mindset was, okay, they're asking me that. And please, if you're the person that tweeted this, what I'm about to say, don't take this personal. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be anything. I'm just being honest. When I read that tweet, I said, okay, I'm going in. I'm looking for a fair value gap. I'm going to buy a pullback towards 35.70. I'm going to go in. I'm going to go long. but I didn't have the charts open. I just saw the tweet. I said, no, I wouldn't touch it. Wait till tomorrow. I was telling the person to don't do anything, but really what I was doing was telling Michael, stay the fuck out of this. Stay the fuck out of there. Don't do nothing with this. That's why I had to walk away, because it was almost like, okay, someone said this, so therefore I'm going to go and I'm going to do the opposite. And when I was a younger man and we were on America Online, we had message boards, which was, you know, obviously like the social media, Twitter space, you know, type thing back then. And whenever I would see other people's opinion, because let's be honest, everybody out there pretty much doesn't know shit about trading. And just look at today as an example. Like they're all trying to figure out what's going on. We all were expecting the daily low to be taken out. We wanted 35.70. Okay, we knew that was coming. Well, everyone that was listening in our community, we were expecting that. We were not trying to buy anything. We didn't look for any kind of reversal type thing prior to 35.70. 35.70, that's where it's going to draw to. We got that today. You also know, before the big drops, to take out that objective, chances are it's going to do what? It's going to go for liquidity. What kind of liquidity? If 35.70 is below the market, that means we're going to take out buy side first. Well, I showed you what I was looking for. I actually showed the example where I was in. I took the long, I took the exit, and I have students that actually marked it up before I even shared all that stuff. They have it marked out saying, this is what I think is going to happen. Boom, boom, boom. And they see it. They know what they're looking for. So that means they understand what I've taught them. But then we see all these other people out there that supposedly are market professionals, you know, talking heads. They're on CNBC and all these other people. Oh, you know, what's going on? They're talking about how this was one of the greatest days for the S&P. What? Look, okay, I understand they have to sell this stuff to keep people wanting to invest because it's a buyer's market. Okay, I understand that. But we don't look at things like that. Like I don't want to go out and try to pick a bottom. Okay, I'm not going to go out there and say, yeah, the bottom's in. I'm not convinced of that just because we had this happen today. All I see is the market go up into a daily fair value gap. All I see is normal business model where relative equal lows on a daily chart after the market's been going down for a long time. We've gone down about 50% of what the previous bull run has been. 50%. It's reasonable to see something like this happen. And it's also reasonable for them to come back and rail against anybody that's been short. Because I believe, until I'm proven wrong, and I'm happy to be proven wrong, I don't care. But I really want you to think about this, okay? And my students that were in my private mentorship know what I'm going to say here, because they were hearing about this back before all this shit really started happening. All the things that are about to take place, I've mentioned to you in previous Twitter spaces. And some of you are unnerved and you're scared, okay? I want you to understand when I talk to you about this, it's not to scare you. I'm not sensationalizing anything, okay? I want you to understand that the general media isn't going to communicate these things to you until it's already too late. In America, our news is filtered greatly, and you're not going to get the perspective that's really going on in ground zero in these other countries where things are happening. And I've been about 9 to 12 months ahead of everybody in everything. And that's not bragging. I need to be ahead of everyone else because I don't want to fall victim to these types of things. And I had students literally tell me to go fuck myself, that I was insane. Okay, I'm nuts. And they wanted a refund just on the basis of the things I told you that you're seeing happen right the fuck now. And I said, first of all, you're not getting a refund. You just sit back and you watch what's going to happen. Okay. In the meantime, I'm going to go over on Twitter and I'm going to show the whole world that are outside here what you've been experiencing. but you get caught up in me talking about things that are outside the marketplace because it hasn't happened in your neck of the woods yet. You're this and you're that. No, man, just take a look around. I would love to be wrong. I want to be wrong for the sake of my own family and friends. The stress this is going to bring on them, I hope I am wrong. But look around, man. Things are going to get really, really hard. I sat down with the Lord. And I know some of you don't believe in this. Okay. Some of you believe in Allah. Some of you believe in other things in other religions. Okay. I'm not going to knock your religion. I'm not going to say anything about you. I'm not going to tweet to you and say, you don't know the real Lord or you don't know the real creator. So please don't do that to me. Okay. Because I'm not going to listen to you. And what's going to happen is I'm going to mute you. I won't delete you, but I'm going to mute you because that's offensive to me. And I'm not trying to be offensive to anyone else, but this is what I did. Okay. I sat down. I said, Lord, how can I be used to be as much help as I possibly can to other people? Because I know what's coming. I knew in 2010. When I stepped out on baby pips, I wanted to let the cat out of the bag then. But I was afraid to talk about it. And I ain't ashamed to tell you that. I was afraid to talk about it. Not because people would laugh at me, because you can see I don't care about that shit. But I was afraid if I talked about it, what might happen. And I have old friends that like to visit once in a while, and they talk to me and tell me there's certain things I shouldn't talk about. And I don't. But I tried to be a little bit cryptic, and people that have been watching me over the years, they have been really close many times to where I was pointing until we got to around the 2016 election. At that point, it was like I needed to talk about it. And I said everything. I said Trump would be elected. Everybody laughed. I said they're going to use him as a fall guy. It's happening. And he's part of it all too. So I know that probably throws you into a different category because some of you are like, yeah, he's a Trumper. I'm not a Trumper. I didn't vote for anybody. And it's just, they're all part of the same thing.